To Stunthanger Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthanger Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know to host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch and be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthanger Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthanger Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthanger Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthanger Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthanger.com/SMF. That's stunthanger.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthanger, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in and you enjoy just watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please, any of your questions or comments in the chat box right over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show, and understand sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. And I will ask the illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthanger Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos, contest coverage, matter of fact, Sparky just wrapped up the Brodak 2024 fly-in. He did live streaming, I think, every day of the event. So he does that. And if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you find it informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe, share the videos, comments on the videos also help the Stunthanger YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthanger's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I've been doing this for 4 years. I'm not the show, but I've been doing the memberships. Actually, I started the membership before I started hosting the show. So don't think I'm doing it just because I'm the host. No, I started donating and supporting the show before I became the host. So please, that's why I want to encourage you, implore you, please, to do it. I do it. And like I said, I did it before I became the host. So please do that. And there's 2 other tiers above that. If you're fortunate enough to do the other 2 tiers or one of the tiers, great, fantastic. Okay. Now, when you join our YouTube channel, you become a family member. In other words, you have access to member-only videos. Not all the videos that Sparky does or I've done have been public. Some of them are members only. So you could capture those. There's some Al Raby videos that Sparky has on there on the platform. And but hopefully you'll do it not just because you want to get the member-only videos, but because you want to support your hobby. Hopefully that you're passionate and excited about like I am. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. So if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is to go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. We fly control line stunt or flying control line models, depending if you're doing combat or carrier or pesky. There's all kinds of events in control line. But my channel is called Flying Control Line Stunt. So hopefully I hope you remember. And go there. And if you have a comment or question, please leave it there. I will get notified on my phone and I'll be able to respond to you quickly. Please check out the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video with Sparky shot with his own video camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. I mean, it was 700 square inches, 58.5 ounces, beautiful plane. And it was something I was really proud to have on the L-pad and compete with. Thank you for Sparky allowing me to do that. So check out the video. And by the way, I only had like 4 or 5 flights on that plane. I only had done like 2 or 3 patterns before that official flight. That's on the channel. Anyways, check it out and like, share, and subscribe there too, please. And I want to just encourage you to please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And last thing I want to say is thank you so much for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. And we already have some people in the gallery. Let me make my way over there. And I also got to do something on the control panel. Hello, everyone. Just a minute, I'll be right with you. Let me make my way over to the control panel. And let's see here. Making my way there right now. And just be a moment here. John, you was the first one in, though. I saw that. So thank you very much, John. Be right with you. Let's see here.
I don't know how I beat Gary in.
Mine was slow.
Yeah, the technology is, but did you win, Gary?
Sometimes it's fast and sometimes it's slow.
Yeah, well, thank God we was able to hook up today, right? Last Monday.
Yeah.
Last Monday was just something that was just the perfect timing, you know, for it to fail.
I don't think I've met Bill Irwin.
Yeah, he's been. Well, I think he's been in before. Yes. How you doing, Bill? Thanks.
Hey, fellas.
Thanks for coming
Hi.
back. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I got the show set up. Let me get it with the chat before I get too far behind. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, yo. And then Gary Sinclair is the first member of our YouTube channel in here in the chat box. He's also a monitor. He has a blue ring so he can knock you out, delay you, put you on pause for misbehaving in the chat box. So he says, hi, everyone, like provided. And then Dennis Adam Misson is our second YouTube member in the chat box. Thank you guys for your support. Appreciate it. I know you guys support us monthly, and we really appreciate it. And he says, like delivered, join you in a bit. And then Len Burrell says, like given. Thank you, Len. Appreciate that. And Jeff Riley says, hi, Charles. Tell the guys I said hi. Hey, guys, Jeff Riley says hi.
Hi, Jeff.
All right, so now we're in session. Let's get going. So let me see here. So John Miller, what you been up to?
Well, haven't done a lot of model stuff. We did a lot of music stuff over the weekend, but just set off a set of plans for the Trailblazer to Sparky asked for a couple of weeks ago. And
oh, nice.
Everything's all, up to snuff and all that. So I sent it to him. So he'll probably take a look at it and comment on it.
That would be great. If you did do that for you, if you built that plane, that would be great.
Oh, I think it'd be wonderful if you did build a section on it, on his YouTube. Absolutely. I think it's a good subject, a large, you don't see large profiles, for up to 60 size engines so much anymore. And when you do see them, they're kind of an oddity. But those that I've seen, like the fellow that had the big Pathfinder, remember that? Remember seeing that?
Yes, I vaguely remember seeing that. And also it was a big flight streak. I remember the big flight streak,
right?
Ringmaster.
Well, the big Pathfinder wasn't quite as big as a big flight streak, but it was substantially larger than the normal Pathfinder, and it apparently flew quite well. So, I guess you get enough square inches there, and the loading goes down, and you get more horsepower out of a bigger engine. So maybe that's the way things got to be going. I see. Oh, I got to talk to this guy when he.
That's coming in. Yeah. So how big of an engine was in that big Pathfinder?
I think he had a 60 in it.
Nice. That sounds intriguing.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what's been going on with me.
All right, let me go to Bill Erin. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Long time no see.
Hey, Charles. It's good to see you. Good to be back.
Good to see you too. You know, I saw a plane that reminded me of a plane I think you built. I think you showed me one. Did we ever meet at the Wooden Arrows? Did you ever go to Wooden Arrows, or was it Golden State?
Here, I don't know, but I think you and I first met at the Golden State, maybe about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that beautiful Super Tiger 51. That was a great running motor.
Yes, it still is. So I moved to the Midwest.
Okay.
I'm not in Las Vegas anymore, and I moved here a year ago, and I was getting settled down, and I live in central Minnesota now.
All right.
And so I'm getting active with the Minneapolis Piston Poppers, a good bunch of guys. And I'm just getting started. I spent a year getting the house set up. I bought a house out in the country. I live alone out here with my 3 dogs, and so I'm just getting active again with the control line stuff.
Cool. So getting active again, what are you going to do? Are you going to build a new plane or fly an old plane? What do you think about doing?
Yeah, a lot of my hobby stuff are still in boxes. So I got to fix up repair old planes and build new planes and start getting active and finding out the contest scene out here in the Midwest. I understand there's a Bob Gialdini Memorial Contest in Wisconsin. I think that's 4 or 5 hours away from where and then of course Muncie is a mere 10 or 12 hours away from me now instead of 36 hours,
Right.
driving. So I don't have an excuse to not go to the Nats, I suppose.
Yeah. That'd be great. You can open up some venues you haven't been to before. So
I've never been to a Nationals. That'd be kind of cool for me. But that's what I'm up to. Not much. Just getting back into it.
Well, thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it. I think the next person came in was Gary Sinclair. How you doing, Gary?
Pretty good. I was going to ask the other guy, does he have room to build him a circle on his property?
I've already scoped out the various places, Gary, and yes, I do.
Oh, that'd be good.
I have a park about a block away from me. It's about a 2-acre park, and it'd be okay for electric only. And then about a mile from my house, I have a large paved parking area that's somewhat secluded, and there's no houses nearby. I could fly glow powered IC planes there. Yeah.
Like a powwow?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, like a powwow, an unmuffled Fox 35. Just fine.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Fantastic. And I think Brendan and Angstrom. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Hey, doing good. Brodex was a whirlwind. That's all I can say. Angstrom did 9 events. I think he placed in all of them.
Fantastic, Angstrom. Great.
Yeah. Carrier Racing. He came in first in Balloon Bust.
All right.
And then all the stunt stuff. I mean, it was just a whirlwind of events and getting around. And one of the things that came from it, I don't know, it was hard, but it was a kind of a learning experience. We went to Null because there's this triple crown trophy out there. I don't know if you all have heard of this, but Will Davis has this floating out there. If you win your category at Null, and then Brodax, and then the Nats. That's the Triple Crown. And so Angstrom and I won beginner, he won intermediate at Null. And then at Brodax, I won beginner. But his first flight of intermediate at Brodax, the handle was off. There was just something wrong with it. We used the same handle every time, but there was something wrong with it. So he got into his outside loops. It just didn't feel right, so he flew it out. So then we had a whole day of practicing because second flights are on the next day. And I mean, he put in a lot of stellar flights. He even used the tracing system up there to take a look at, you know, how he was doing. And he tightened up some of his stunts because he was doing things a little too big. And then I know my wife and I were just sweating it, like having bad, you know, hard dreams, just going, man, he's got to nail it on Saturday. He went out there and nailed it.
All right.
But he tied. He tied. It was 503.5, tied the other guy. And then it comes down to the second score, which his second score was the one where he had to bail out.
Oh, damn.
And so it was one of those things where, you know, you learned. And I think that's the main thing. He learned, you know, we kind of realized, you know, like, yeah, got to have that handle check. Got to know what you're doing when you're going out there. But I don't know, just really proud of him for you know, taking the moment, coming to play, and putting up a high score. And that was the second time breaking 500. Just wished we could have got to 504 and just be making a run at the Triple Crown piece. But I don't know. He took it in stride, and I mean, we had just such a great week that it really didn't take much off of it, honestly. I don't know. I can't speak for you. What do you think, man?
It was just very close, but it was still just a lot of fun.
So what was wrong with the handle?
What's that?
What was wrong with the handle? Did you figure out what the problem was?
We never figured it out. I mean, Will Davis kind of talked to us a little bit about stuff like, you know, could we use Spectra lines, and we've got the lead out lines are Kevlar. So he's like, you know, a knot could have slipped somewhere along the way, but we've flown that one a ton of times. So didn't notice anything that had slipped. It just, I don't know. Something was just a little bit off.
Okay. Yeah, I've had the connectors get, you know, Willy Wonka, you know, instead of being straight. And that has messed up my handle until you get that thing straightened out. You know, slide the eyelet around to the back of the connector or the front, you know, to get it so it's straight. I've had that.
Yeah, I've had that.
Any chance you might have mixed the up and down lines?
Shouldn't have, yeah, because we keep the handle on the spool on the line, so yeah, it would have stayed in the same place.
All right,
I don't know, just it wasn't our day on that one.
No, it's messed up. John, you had a comment or a question, John?
Well, I just wanted to say I got a big kick. I watched one of the streamings with Angstrom. They were flying four at a time in some racing event. And Angstrom was towering over all those guys. He hardly had to lift his hand up to go over him as he's laughing them. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, we are
The
going
one
to,
little guy, he was kind of bent over anyway, and he'd come around to him and he'd just fly right over top him like he wasn't even there. It was a trip to watch.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, you're talking about the mass flying. Yeah, they were 4 up. It was the folks at the carrier field. They tend to do a lot of that, and this was our first year kind of getting in with them, and they like to do that mass flying. I think they had 5 up the night before, and it was just a little too many for Angstrom to want to get involved. He had just done racing with 3 up, but he was a little nervous when he saw 5 out there. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to wait on that one." He got 4 up the next night, and yeah, he wanted to do more of it. It just never materialized with kind of the other stuff for the week. But now we got our eyes set on Nats. I mean, that's exactly what we got going here. We picked up a carrier plane. I can't remember who's the guy they celebrated that recently died. All his plaques were there, Denny. Who was that guy?
Price Reese or Bob Reese.
But yeah,
Bob
yeah.
Reese, I
So
think his real name was Price, but yeah.
yeah, so we got his one of his carrier planes here that we're going to try to rehab, and usually we go out to Nats for just the stunt side of things, but I think we're going to throw our hands in. Thanks from doing some carrier stuff, and then we also have a Perky plane, a Perky with a Fox 35 on it that Dick Imhoff gave us about 5 years ago. And we might get that thing out in the next month here, run it, and see about doing some speed stuff up there with that at Nat. So we got our eyes on a prize here to just keep the fun rolling.
Very cool. I think I have Bob Hunt up next. Hey, Bob, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Well, I was just getting ready to go to bed, and I was turned on the TV and got onto YouTube and saw that this guy Urban was over here. I figured I'd come on and say hello. All you other guys, I see you all the time. I haven't seen him in years, and I just want to come on and say hello.
Hi, Bob.
Go back a long way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, thank you for calling, Charles, about Father's Day.
Oh, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I called you back, but there was no answer, so
Sorry, I missed your call. I really am. I sometimes I have my headset on and I don't hear it for some reason. I don't know. Or I might have been on the phone. Hey, John. Yes, John?
Yeah, I've been dying I've got to ask Bob a question. Bob, do you have my phone number?
What's that?
Do you have my phone number?
Hold on.
I want to talk to you about your twin. How it's going on. I'm ready to go on it. Boy,
Does it end with 491?
It's 801.
Yeah, 674.
Nope. 859.
Oh, okay. I don't have it. Hold on. Let me edit this. 801. Go ahead.
859.
859.
5865.
5865.
Give me a call when it's convenient, and we'll talk, because I'm ready to go as soon as you are. If you still want me to do the CAD work on that.
I mean, that little twin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of requests about that. Been out flying it. I sealed the hinge gaps, which is something I usually do before I fly an airplane, but I was so anxious to get it out and fly. It flew great. Then when I sealed the hinge gaps, I went to pull out where I normally would, and I pulled out about 30 feet. And I came to an epiphany about setting up airplanes. If you guys have a few minutes, I'll lay it out because I think it's beneficial to everybody.
Please.
All right. Back in the 70s, John, you go back that far. Certainly, Keith Schossel goes back. Keith goes back, I think, to the 20s. But sorry, Keith.
He got a grin out of him.
That was there. I took it. And Dennis too. But back in those days, Keith will tell you that we had airplanes that cornered every bit as well as anybody is cornering today, the tightest corners on the planet. We had them back then. Schaefer and Simons, myself, all the East Coast guys had really great corners. Would you agree, Keith?
Yeah, I won't argue.
Yeah, and we didn't know why. We were completely oblivious to why we were able to turn those corners. It wasn't because of any extracurricular or extra piloting ability. We just had airplanes that turned good. And in thinking about it, what we were doing was we were using very fast control systems because all we had to work with were Vico horns back then. And if you put those in an airplane in a one-to-one setup, they were very, very quick control. So you got a lot of elevator in and a lot of flap in very quickly. So the airplanes would be forced to turn very quickly. But then in order to stabilize them, you had to put some nose weight in to get them to prevent them from overturning, And that's how we were doing it. We didn't think much about it. And when I got out of stunt to go fly RC pattern for several years, and I came back, Vico horns were kind of gone. And what was around was Tom Morris's horns, which were much taller and the whole system was slower. And I couldn't get the kind of corner I used to get before. It was a good corner, but not a great corner. And so we started moving the balance point, not the center of gravity, but the balance point aft with the slower systems to try to get the airplanes to turn quicker. And we did. But in doing that, the airplanes were more neutrally stable. In other words, kind of like the further you get that balance point back, it's more like a person on a board standing on top of a bowling ball, trying to keep it from moving one direction to another. Very difficult. So we kind of found a compromise by not having quite as tight a corner, but enough nose weight in the airplane, enough forward balance point to stabilize it after the corners. Well, here's the epiphany. These European airplanes, the first time I ever flew one, Jose Modesto let me fly one that was destined to go to Orestes Hernandez, is what he told me. And he took me out to the field, and I was scared to fly it because it was like a $3,000 airplane, and that's my budget for 10 years for modeling. So he said, no, go ahead and fly it. So I checked the controls, and they were incredibly fast and an incredible amount of movement in the elevator. Not so much of the flap. They had it dialed down on the flap, but it had a lot of elevator. And I said to him, I can't fly this thing. This is going to be like all over the sky. It's going to be so touchy, I won't be able to control it. And he says, go ahead and fly it. Well, it felt like the Queen Mary out there. It felt like I couldn't turn that airplane if my life depended on it. And then I came and smacked the handle for a corner. The airplane just turned and went the other direction, absolutely stable. And then the light bulb came on. This is how they're doing it. It's pretty much how we did it back in the 70s. We didn't even realize we were doing it. So lately, what I've been doing is last year at the National, I had an airplane that turned incredibly tight, the twin turning point, but it wouldn't stabilize every time. I couldn't nail the bottom every time perfectly. And Howard Rush walked over to me. He said, "Where's your slider? Where's your elevator slider?" And it dawned on me that I hadn't even checked the elevator slider. I was so anxious to get the airplane out and fly it. It was all the way up. So I had the maximum amount of throw in the elevator. And as you all know, who fly stunt, if you move that slider down a 32nd of an inch, it's a big move, right? I moved it down 3/16 of an inch.
Oh.
And instantly, I still had good corner, not quite as good as I had before, but I had instant stability after the corner.
Wow.
All right. So I tried that on several airplanes, and it's worked on every one of them with one addition. In order to get the corner back, I opened the handle spacing dramatically. I'm up to 6-inch handle spacing, where I used to be at 4 3/8, 4.5. I'm up to 6 inches of handle spacing. I have the slider down on all my airplanes a little bit, and I have a little bit of nose weight in the airplanes now. Move the balance point further forward to stabilize. I'm getting my cake and eating it too, having dessert and having something sweet when I get home. The airplanes are turning, they're locking, they're tracking because I have a little bit more flap now versus elevator. And the big handle lets me get all the control in instantly. The handle spacing, and yet it's not touchy. So that's the epiphany for tonight for me. It's worked on every airplane I've done it on.
That's a great tip. Go ahead, Stuart.
He said slider. What do you mean? What do you mean by slider? Something.
Well, the elevator horns we're using have a slot, and it has a little device that allows you to move the point at which the ball link on the elevator push rod attaches to the elevator horn. You can move it up or you can move it down. You can lock it.
In the holes, or is it slotted?
It's slotted, so you can move it up and down. It has a little locking.
I've never seen
it.
I've never seen it before. Okay.
Yeah. Well, everybody that flies competition stunt now, at the NATS level, let's say, has been using that for the last, Sparky, last 20 years, 30 years?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, 20, 25 years.
I do have a question for you. Did you get your package?
Yes. Thank you very much. Did you get your package?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yeah, so that's what the slider does, Stuart. Is it it allows you to change the ratio of elevator movement versus flat movement, which is one of the 5 attributes I'm always talking about when it comes to building an airplane. One is build it light, build it straight, build it rigid, because if you build it straight and it's straight on the bench, but it's not straight under load, it's not straight. So rigid, and then proper power plant. It doesn't matter if it's glow, electric, steam, nuclear, or 2 chipmunks on a turntable, as long as it works for you. And then the fifth thing is a fully adjustable, robust control system that at minimum allows you to adjust the elevator flap neutraling and the ratio of movement between the elevator and flap.
Okay.
Absolutely. Does anybody have an elevator horn to show Stuart? So you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
here.
I mean,
Thank you, Keith.
thank you, Big. 1 second. Get my cursor over there. All right. There you go, Stuart.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
You can see
Yeah.
the slot.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
There you can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that. Fantastic. Let me see here. We're done, Bob?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me get to Dennis Adamison. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? And after Dennis, I have Lynn Burrell and then Keith Trossel. Where's Dennis at? Oh, Dennis, you're muted, Dennis.
There we go. I'm hanging in there. Had a good time at Brodak. Waited up Friday night for the for the chat to open. And then I woke up and it was midnight. Said, well, there must not be a chat tonight. So I did get together, chatted with Sparky a little bit on the next day and whatever. But yeah, we had the usual good time. It was interesting. I'm not sure where Brendan and Angstrom and their family. I mean, they're going to have to get a bigger RV if they're going to be hauling that many trophies and stuff. And we also decided, Mrs. Brodak was handing out trophies and stuff like that, and we're going to take up a little donation and get her a step ladder. So,
just for Brendan and Angstrom.
one of the best pictures of the day. John Saunders was running the racing events, and John he's a kind of a big guy, or at least I used to think so. And he was in a picture between Brendan and Angstrom. And he looked like he looked like a baseball player standing with basketball players. All right, so it was. You can see Johnny looks up this way and he looks up this.
Yeah, that's
whatever. No, it was terrific to see. Brendan and Angstrom have been working very, very hard for a long time. It was great to see the results.
yeah.
Brendan did not acknowledge the fact that he is last man standing now for that Triple Crown trophy. Will Davis made it up here a couple of years ago, and we were teasing him there at dinner one afternoon, saying, "Hey, Will, did you just build that so you could set it on your own trophy case and show it off? Just never been awarded." So, the number of people that even attend those 3 meets, much less do well at it, is pretty daunting. So Brandon,
the pressure is on for sure. I thought if anything, Angstrom would be last one standing on it, but yeah, here I am, and so now I gotta put up or shut up. It's at the Nats.
That's it. Well, that's it. But it's just terrific to see you guys having the success you're having. So
well, let me add in here. I got a wonderful Father's Day present yesterday, and actually, I'll go back to this. John had to have planned Brodak's for Father's Day week. I mean, it was just perfect. It's perfect that it leads right into Father's Day, because I always tell my family, like, this is the best Father's Day gift I can have, just spending the week at the field with them. But then yesterday, my daughter, who had dabbled a little bit years ago in flying, she put up a couple flights, her first 3 flights in probably 4 years here yesterday for Father's Day. And yeah, 3 1-minute flights, but she held her own. They all stayed up. You know what? It was crazy. I was out there in the circle with her just in case something happened on the first one. No, she had it. She took it off. I sat on the ground and I just watched her face smiling. And she said, "No, I wasn't." I'm like, "Yeah, you were. There was a natural smile that came over your face." And so she's back in the circle, and I think she's gonna give it a little go here. So it made my day yesterday.
Very, very good. Very,
Yeah,
very
I also wanted to point out, Stuart got to spend a little time with Mark Wise. Mark was giving a tour of the field and stuff like that. I think Mark is priming him for the step up to the big chair. So
That was pretty good. I went into town and I couldn't find the place. And this guy's walking along the street and I said, "Oh, Dina," I forget what I said. "You know where these circles are to fly or whatever?" He goes, "Yeah." And then he kind of walks over and I realized it was Mark. And I said, "I know you," and kind of thing. And yeah, he took it
crazy.
over. And then when I got there, I got the presidential treatment and he took me on a tour in the four-wheeler there. So
Yeah.
All right.
I got to hang around quite a bit with Ed Waskey, which we haven't been able to do over the years. It's usually kind of a high and a high five, but we got to chat a little more than normal and stuff. So that was fun too. So
let me get us going. There's a lot of people here. Lynn Burrell is next, and then after Lynn Burrell, we got Keith Trossel. Hey, Lynn, how's it going? You're muted, Lynn.
There we go. Hey, how we doing, guys? Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, Lynn.
Yep.
How's the painting and trim?
Painting's all finished, just waiting for it to cure. Now I'm letting it sit for a week, so then I'll sand it, buff it, polish it, stick all the equipment in it, and go fly it.
Let's
after
see
we
it.
bench trim it.
Let's see
Want to
it.
see it?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Oh, yeah, this is so now it's going to be a critique session. I know where this is going.
Charles, I got some pictures to show too from
Oh, fantastic. That'd be great. I look forward to it. Let me catch him on the chat box while he steps away. We got Jeffrey says, "Hi, Bill. Flying with the piston poppers. Tell Shug Emery I said hello."
Okay, I will.
Fantastic, Bill. And then Terry Forbes says Shug is a member of the Piston Poppers. Terry Pirates, thank you, Terry. And then Minnesota Mike says, Bill Erman, there is a not sure what that's supposed to be. Skylarks out there at Fargo, North Dakota as well. And then Jeff Fry says, "Hi, Mike." And then Jeff, Minnesota Mike responds, "Hi, Jeff." And then Roy Lane, he's a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you for coming in, Roy, and thank you for your financial support. Really appreciate it. He says, "Good evening. Like provided." Thank you. And he goes, "Have been watching Sparky with
I don't have any sound
this weekend." So yeah, Sparky started building a fly streak. Hopefully you can share that a little bit about that. Or here's Lynn Burrell with this pretty airplane. Let me make you big, Lynn.
Well, that's a lot of purple.
A lot of purple.
All right.
Two-tone purple.
You know what it's going to wind up being called, don't you?
Nice.
Blurp.
Yeah.
Nice. That looks good.
That's outstanding.
That is sharp, Lynn.
That looks good.
Got all the ink lines done. All the ink around all the letters.
Very nice.
Scoops are all painted up. See if I can get in here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice. What's the name on the plane? I saw it on the other panel. What does it say?
Carvanta. It's halfway between a Cardinal and a Novanta from Wendy.
Very, very cool. Carvanta. I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's coming along pretty good. A lot of sanding and buffing still to do yet, but
yeah, I bet. But it's gonna look
getting there.
Nice. What's on the flap? I saw some writing on the flap. What is that?
Oh, that's just my thanks box. Let's see if I can get down that low. Hang on. I got to go down, not up. There we are.
Oh, okay. So thanks.
So yeah, it's coming along pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it.
Should be. Looks very, very nice.
So hopefully, once I get it all sanded and buffed, it should look pretty good anyway.
How much a
Not
puppy
perfect. It's,
weigh?
I've weighed every single part that's going onto it now, and we're looking at about 71 ounces. PA 75 on a pipe.
Very nice. Very nice.
Not light, but not the heaviest.
That should work. That's a big wing. That should work.
That's a 720 wing, isn't it, Lynn?
710.
There you go.
710. Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
So,
Hello, guys.
okay.
Let me see. I got next. Lynn, was you done, Lynn? Anything else?
Yeah, I'm done. Okay.
And after Lynn is Keith Trossel. Let me get to Keith Trossel. And after Keith Trossel is Ed Watsky and Sparky. All right. So Keith, where are you at? Hey, Keith, there you are.
Nothing new or different here.
But Keith, you know what? You and I had an interesting conversation. I am really excited to talk about this. I'm sure some of these,
probably wouldn't even get a word in.
I had to mute you. No, that's not you, Gary. Who am I to mute? I hear someone in the background.
I think it's.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Keith, you know what? Where I practice at, it's a grass field, and the grass is not always mowed, and so I always take off and try to land in the same spot. I'm not really strategic in my landing, so I don't even take that the information you shared with me.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's Lynn.
Lynn, yeah, Lynn.
Okay, okay, great. So what you told me, Keith, was really interesting. We was talking about my fuel tank that I made, and you mentioned that you put the Uniflow about 25% back from the end, right? Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
And then you talked about how you do your shutoff loop so that you can land downwind.
Yeah.
Like I said, because of how I practice all the time and irregular grass, I just land that same spot, whether it's upwind or downwind, doesn't matter. But I understand that could really make a difference for a competitor, because sometimes I get pretty good takeoffs because that's strategic. I set the plane down, where the experts do for the most part, particularly if Brett Buck does it, I put it there. And my takeoffs aren't too bad, but my landings some are good, some are bad. And I think it's because I'm not consistently landing downwind. I'm not setting up my landing. So I wanted you to kind of talk a little bit about that, and maybe even other people can pipe in. I think that's a strategic thing that I'm missing, and it might be some other people that are missing that too.
Well, other people may differ. When there's only like 3, 4, 5 mile an hour winds, it doesn't make that much difference. But when it starts getting to be more than 5, 6, 7, 8 miles an hour, even above 4 miles an hour, I'm going to always try to have my touchdown at least somewhere on the downwind side of the circle. Other people may differ on that, but that reduces the chance of bouncing and ballooning up then. That's me. So I try to position myself like we're talking about earlier today or whenever it was, do an inside or do my kill loop. I'll be downwind, of course, and maybe end up the bottom of that loop at 45 degrees. And then depending on the wind and so forth, where the kill dies, have a chance then to go ahead and set up for an approach to land on the downwind side of the circle. So that's just me, and that's the way I fly. Like I say, other people may differ. Bob may have a whole different approach to how he sets up for his landing.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, well, I agree totally with Keith. I mean, you want to be able to sit down so you're going downwind, it kills the lift, and you're not going to bounce. And that's just everybody does that. That flies competition. But in the case of the shutoff loop, if you don't have the opportunity to do that, a lot of people will fly flat-footed. In other words, they'll be facing the airplane and turning, just turning around. And the airplane shuts off and it's in the wrong place. You don't have any tug on the airplane to whip it around to where you want to. So when you get near the end of the flight, if you're not going to do the shutoff loop, which is fine, be walking around backwards in a circle with tug on the airplane. So that when it does shut off in the wrong place, you're automatically whipping the airplane. You don't have to start whipping it at that point. You're already whipping it a little bit. And then you can pretty much bring it around in any kind of wind and set it downwind. But that shutoff loop is, when I flew Glow, that's exactly what I did,
Anybody else?
I concur.
I have a question for the high wind landing. Where do you want to touch down?
I like 90 degrees downwind. 90 degrees downwind. The
Yeah,
airplane's pushing against the ground. As quick as it hits, walk toward it and give it a kiss of down. And just walk at it as you go around the corner. Get that
So
thing
it's,
low.
it's with the wind behind the plane?
That's correct.
So,
That's my
so
preference.
if the wind is on your back, the plane is going to be on your right.
That's right. Be to the right
That's
of
the
the
spot you
judges
want to touch
downwind.
down.
Yep, right of the judges downwind for me. I want to go by the judges at 1 foot and squeak it on downwind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Okay.
going pretty fast, guys. It's booking.
Yeah, it's moving.
It's moving. But
So
somebody
if
else
you're
may
doing a FAI landing, you should be at 1.2 meters over that spot.
well, yeah,
that's
FAI
out.
rules sort of screw things up for
Yeah,
how
that-
you do your approach and all that, so.
Yeah, you have to be booking over there.
Different territory for all of us here in the States. We don't have to worry about that.
Okay. All right.
Another thing I found is that really helps my landings these days is tricycle landing gear.
So on the FAI landing, it still helps to do a kill loop. Well, do a kill loop so you're in a position to have as much speed as you can when you approach that 2-meter height. And then you're able to go ahead and whip it around for the full lap before you touch down. That's the only thing I can offer on that.
Yeah. I don't have a kill loop option.
Well, okay, it was electrics, that's different, but
Yeah.
Whip it hard.
Well, there is that.
But I have a pretty
That
thin
board-
airfoil, so I can really book.
yeah.
I
It does have
can
a-
Whip
penetrate.
it as
Can't get
much
to
as
tut
you
airfoil.
can
I
when
mean,
you
tut
do
board.
as much speed as you can when you get that 2-meter height.
Mhm.
That's
I
all.
believe Howard has a device, electronic device in his electric airplane that allows him to do the shut-off loop.
Right.
Yep.
He does.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
I
a
know
tut
that.
board.
Yeah.
Type board. Let me let
Leave it to Howard.
in next. Lynn, go ahead, Lynn.
That's not fair.
I'm sorry. Lynn, you gotta unmute yourself, Lynn.
I've been watching a lot of the F2B guys at the World Champs on YouTube lately, and I've noticed that a number of them, what they're doing, and I'm going to try to get used to doing this before I go to the Nats and the Worlds, is that they, as soon as the airplane quits, they'll have it at about 45 degrees. They dive it down to the 5 feet, and then that way they get a lap of glide before touching down.
You want as much energy as you can when you.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. They're coming along, and as soon as that motor stops, they dive it down, and that way they have lots of speed so they can get that full lap in.
Yep.
If you'll be
You
whipping
can-
when all this happens.
You can, in addition to that, do what Bob said. Have it whipped before that.
For sure,
Yep.
for sure. Yeah. that's
So
good.
once you dive in, plus whipping it, you're gonna get a lot of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
When
It's maybe
Howard
too
was at
much
Nats
some
last
days.
year, I was talking to him and he
Thanks,
showed me,
guys.
one of his flights and he says, next lap, I'm gonna show you the kill switch. And he did a kill loop and dove it to just about waist high, about 4 feet, and pulled out and he went a lap. Didn't look like it looked almost effortless, but he was walking backwards and he was whipping a little bit to keep line tension.
Yeah.
And that's the way he did it. Now that thing, it looked really good. Trey's airplane shouldn't have any problem making a lap at 4 feet if he gets any speed up at all. That thing glides. It glides a long way.
Yeah,
It's
it
one
glides
of the
farther.
cleaner designs out there.
Hey,
One of
Keith,
the things I thought about the twins, don't glide a long way because you got a lot of bending disc and prop.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
you got to be ready to whip those. That's for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith,
For
did
all
I
the
cut you
pluses,
off?
there got to be a minus.
Did I cut you off, Keith? Trossel, you have something else you want to say?
No, I'm through.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're welcome. And then so Ed Waskey, thank you very much for that donation you gave Sparky. I appreciate it very much.
Welcome. Good to see everybody there tonight and stuff. And yeah, great time at Brodak. Stuart, got to talk with him and his sister, Jane, which was really nice. And Joe and Dennis and stuff. It was good times, nice people, and really enjoyed it and stuff. And that, so
you didn't fly at all?
Just over in the carrier circle, a couple of minutes, and that was about it. I didn't have anything ready, and physically I couldn't and stuff and that. So, but I got to do a lot of looking.
Very good.
Yeah, and looking at the judging and my impressions versus what they're saying and what it looks like and that. So it was pretty educational.
Very cool. And Keith, yes, Keith.
I wanted to say there's sort of a new face here. He hasn't said anything. Gary Akers is online here.
Yeah, he's actually behind Stuart Morrison. So
okay,
so try to get to
anyway,
him. But thank you.
Maybe he's been here before, but I've not seen him. And introduce him. He's one of the really nice guys from Southern California. So
absolutely, he is. He is a great guy, great gentleman in the hobby. And let me see here. Next is Sparky. Hey, Sparky, how's it going?
Real good. I guess, Len, you got the motors.
Thank you very much, Sparky. Much appreciated.
You guys
All good.
Fight over the 19s.
Oh yeah, nobody's died yet. It's all good.
And this goes to Brendan. This is the flight streak you sold me. Well, kinda. There isn't a part on it that came out of that kit, but this kit, as I'm building it, it's exactly as I remember it. Die crushed wood. It's like made out of plywood, but they're good patterns.
Sorry to hear that.
That's all right. I'm going to use the leading, trailing edge, and the spars, and that'll be it. But everything else.
Can't even use a rib, Sparky?
No.
Golly.
No. I made a set of ribs today. This fuselage, this setup right here, plus I lengthened the nose an inch and lengthened the tail an inch. This setup right here weighs 2.8 ounces. This fuselage part, where did it go? I don't know. The stock fuselage, just the body without any doublers or anything on it, weighs 2.9 ounces.
Wow.
So just, where is that part? It's unbelievable. The rock wood in here. I mean, this wood is so brittle. I guess this is an
petrified.
Old kit from the 60s. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this part right here, weighs more than this part, all this together.
Wow.
So the ribs are, like I say, they break. I mean, they're just brittle. So I made a new set. I mean, it's terrible. I wanted to make sure that Len got his.
Appreciate it, Sparky. Yeah, everything was great, and we unseized all the motors. They all turn over beautiful. We oiled them up. They're going to be good. Tom Knight's making some Venturis for them, and we'll stick some needles in them in the next week and see how they work.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm out of Mercos now.
All right.
So no more Mercos.
Well, you don't have any leases to break, right?
No leases to break.
We used to call them lease breakers. The Mercos
Why
are
is
still
that?
Before mufflers.
Oh,
so loud. Okay,
yeah,
loud.
Now
yeah.
I got you.
I was given 2 of these Johnson motors, and that's why I got this flight streak, because I wanted to bring back childhood memories. I got a Super Stunt Johnson 35,
Okay. Yeah, I had one of those.
And then a previous Johnson 35, same motor, just this is the upgrade. Mark gave them to me, and I thank Mark immensely for these. These are neat, and these here will bark off pretty good because you can't put mufflers on them.
Yeah,
You
they'll be
can't.
lease breakers too.
There's no piston port.
I'm not gonna put mufflers on them.
Yeah, and Mark, thank you for the Fox 35.
All right. We'll talk about Mark Gerber or Mark
Yeah,
White.
Mark Gerber.
Mark
Yep.
Gerber.
Mark Gerber. He's not here tonight, but thank you, Mark. It's awesome.
Oh, I want to say one other thing and then let you go. I did a short of Joe Gilbert starting his Venus. That video or that short gained 15,000 views and 65 subscribers and
Oh
one
my God.
member.
Oh,
Wow.
You're a star.
I'm a star. I'm so famous.
Joe.
We didn't even know that, Joe.
They make you big again, Joby. Since you were stars, here, there we go.
There you go. Give them the star treatment.
They were looking at Colleen. They weren't looking at me.
That might have been it. I haven't
So
seen
Colleen's
the short,
sneaking
but I
around
bet
the
you that's
back
what
there.
it is.
She's back there scurrying
I'll tell you
around.
what, if you watch Joe land a ringmaster, though, I'm talking a dang ringmaster. You watch Joe fly a ringmaster, that's something altogether. But watch Joe land a ringmaster. He and Tom Looper are the only two I've ever seen could land those things every time, never a bounce, makes it look like the grass is smooth. I didn't see a bounce all weekend, Joe, and I watched you.
Well, it skips a little every now and then for sure. It'll skip.
Well,
let me get
not
to
bad.
Stuart Morrison. Hey, Stuart. Hey, what's going on with you, man?
Oh,
Hey, the new
it's
press.
fun down at Brodak, so it's been good. So I got lots of pictures here.
All right, yes, go ahead and go ahead. The share screen is already enabled, so go ahead.
Well, I got to hit share screen, or no, I got to pull it up first, right?
Right, pull it up first, and then hit share screen, then reselect it again.
While he's doing that.
Oh, here we go. He's got it. All right. Who is that?
That was he was doing a pull test, I think, on one of his
George looks like George Marenka.
Yep.
Like
That's who it is.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Carrier airplane.
Oops. Wait a minute. I can't move the pictures to the next. Oh, there we go.
All right. Carrier deck.
Here's my chauffeur.
All right. Very nice.
That is Fred, RC Fred.
That was Fred. Okay.
Yeah, it's RC Fred.
All right, cool. Now I have a face with the name. And Willie Davis, and who was that?
Kyle Palco.
Oh, Palco.
All right.
The tornado.
The mini Palco.
That's Tommy Lusano's airplane right there.
All right.
Who won ringmaster? I think I know, but I bet it was Joe. But
I didn't fly. I wasn't.
You
there.
didn't.
I had to go home for a wedding. Tommy got second, and John Paris got first.
Well, but on. Well, they deserved it.
That's Carl Schaefer right there.
Yeah. And our illustrious photographer here, if he tries to say he's not serious about photography, I mean, he had his hat on backwards. He had the camera sitting out there. That man got serious.
All right.
Stuart, you good photographer.
I don't know. Oh, Hang on, here we go. Here's some sheets. I don't know if you want to look at these.
Sure.
Can you see those good?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
It's like in classic advanced. Let's see Jim Pagani, Al Fiero. Yeah, I see their names. You can read it. Yeah.
Who won advanced?
Advanced Pampa or advanced?
Advanced Pampa. Yeah.
Do you have
I
that?
don't know. Maybe later on the week.
Yeah, I think that was
That's
after.
first day right there. That's first day right there.
Yeah.
That's George Waters and Alan Buck, Chris Phelps.
No, Chris Fritz.
Fritz, you're right. Chris Fritz. That's Alan and George. Yep.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
There's Diane Simpson.
Yeah.
John Simpson, yep.
Doug
Carl
Benedetti.
Schaefer, Doug Benedetti. Uh-huh. That's Alan Buck's airplane that John Simpson built. Crusader. That's them again.
Oh, plane.
If you haven't been, guys, you got to go.
I mean that.
It's just
Absolutely.
Look at that. Look at the judge. Look at the judge.
Who's judging here?
I couldn't tell.
Dennis. You couldn't tell Dennis?
Dennis out of mission. Oh, that's Bill. That's the police guy,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Bill Gray.
Bill Gray, that's right.
I think he 83.
You might be right.
I'm pretty sure he's 83 years old.
I think you're right.
He still gets around like a
Is
young
that Dave
fella.
Hollister right there? No, that's Jim Meyer. Jim something. Retired Army fella. Nice guy.
Jim Mine.
Mine,
Yes, nice
yep.
guy. He was also
That's
that's
Kermit.
Kermit.
That's
Kermit
Kermit.
Payne, the winner of advanced most of the
Another
advanced
good
events.
guy. There's just a lot of good people there. That's Fred. Rick. There's the Venus.
There
That's
it
the one
is.
that Pete Peterson built right there. That's a
That
Pete
thing is
Peterson
beautiful.
airplane.
I thought that was a Pete Peterson. It's yellow.
Was
It's
he there?
beautiful.
Was Pete
No,
there?
he gave that to me at Tucson.
Very nice.
I
Wow.
come home and got it. I trimmed it the way I want to fly it. It's killer good.
Nice.
Awesome.
He built straight.
Banjock.
The old comedian.
It's got monocoque wings now. Finally, the old fabric finally gave up.
Huh?
but
That
it looks
airplane's
good.
gone. He hit a post. Lap
Oh, no.
after takeoff.
That's too bad.
That was Tim Stagg's. Right there's Tim Stagg.
Gypsy, yeah.
That's Zambelli.
Zambelli's Argus. Yeah.
Mhm. That's Dennis right there. Dennis.
I got a question. Is Dennis's Gypsy the same size as the other one, Tim Staggs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look at there.
Pathfinder.
There's a lot of them.
Ka-ching.
There was a lot of Pathfinders, a lot of Vectors. Man.
There's Jake Moon's airplane right there. Is Jake's airplane for the world.
Singapore.
He got fourth, I think, in advanced.
Good for him.
He did well. It's like probably 70th pattern his whole life.
Boy, good for him.
Is that which 109 is that? Does anybody know? Is that Chic?
It's a Sheik's 109. It's a BMJR prototype kit, and it was built by I know the name. He's one of our guys, and
But it is a Chic's one.
It is a Sheik's kit, yes. I mean design.
Claire Shoemaker.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Two different 109s.
I know him until I try to call his name, and then that's a pretty Oh, look at that. How about that?
Doug Benedetti built that. That's a Doug Benedetti built airplane, but Carl
Nice.
Schaefer, one of the boys, was flying it. I don't forget which one.
Never Vector.
That's, well, I think that
Another
was,
Vector.
I don't know. That's another Doug Benedetti built airplane right there.
Wow, pretty.
That's
Very
steel
good
wood.
fly.
Bill's a pretty airplane.
He does.
Ooh, what's
That's
that?
Chris's. That's Chris's airplane. I don't know whose Cavalier that is. Yes, I do. That
It
is
was
Craig Gunder.
Craig
Greg
Gunders.
Gunders.
That's right.
That
Craig
thing
Gunders.
disappeared against the trees in the back. Every time he'd go by, I'd just lose it.
And that's Chris's other airplane there. That's John Tate
Yeah.
and Brian something launching him.
Brian Miller.
Miller.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's it. Uh-huh.
Kermit Payne again.
You got some nice photos.
He did a good job.
You did.
I'm
I'm
happy.
telling you, he's a good photographer. I
happy
was
to
watching
see
him. He
these.
does a good job.
I'm happy
We'll
to
able to
see
get him
these.
as our official photographer.
He just needs to be there for the whole week next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Look at that beautiful home back there.
Here we go. For the boys listening, they're just looking. The carrier guys.
Yeah.
That's that 6'8" guy, Sparky, that young man that's real tall.
14 years old.
Yeah, that's
There
him.
he is.
He is.
Yep, that's
Nice
Angstrom.
kids. Nice kids. There they are right there. That's them.
Yeah. Angstrom, how'd you finish in Navy carrier?
I'm trying to think through things. Yeah, there was only him and Paul Smith for Carrier 1 and 2. And then what was the other one? You did a profile one where he came in third. There were just a couple of times where he was on the slow laps would touchdown, but he got in a big fight with Paul Smith. Not a true fight, but in a dog fight of planes. They said that on the Skyray competition that you could have unlimited attempts. And so him and Paul Smith were going back and forth. And I think Angstrom finally eclipsed him. And then Paul had to just put up one more and give it a go. So Paul took over. And then Angstrom put up his next flight and was having a killer flight and was actually putting it to him. But you got to do 7 slow laps. That 5th slow lap, Angstrom accidentally got inverted. It tipped over and got inverted, and that DQs you. So he gracefully bowed out and gave it over to Paul. But it was fun. It was a battle back and forth.
Good show.
One thing about it, Paul ain't going to give up. You're going to have to beat him.
Joe,
that's right.
Do you think Angstrom's taller than Robbie Gruber?
He's never going to give up. You're going to have to.
He
beat
might
him.
be, Sparky. He might be taller.
Taller than who?
I like these lines. Look how curved they are.
Time.
You see how curved the lines are?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome to Navy carrier, guys.
Yeah.
On slow laps, that's what you contend with.
A nice photo there.
It is.
Yeah. Great photos.
I was just happy about one thing. I walked up to Angstrom this year, and he didn't seem like he was any taller than he was last year.
I bet they're waiting for that kid.
Hey, when I walk up to somebody and have to look up to see them, I mean that's a tall boy.
That's unusual, yeah, for you.
That man, that is a very tall young man, and he's only 14.
I bet
he can grow 4 more
coach is
years.
waiting for
Good
him in
gracious.
high school.
That Messerschmitt looks cool.
His daddy's no shorty either, by the way.
Flew very well.
So yeah, really flew nice.
It looks awesome.
Tom Schmelzer.
It's
He's a nice guy too. There's the famous one. He's holding his camera.
Who's this guy?
I took a few pictures, but not many.
David.
Ran
I don't
out
know
of card.
David's last name. That's David something.
Okay.
I can't think of his last name either.
Guy reminded me of Scott Elliott.
Well, I know who that is.
That's John Simpson right there. I think,
Sure
isn't it?
is. John Simpson.
That's Papa.
Can't miss him.
He talks about how he's getting old and can't, just can't do this anymore. I said, John, as long as you keep whooping everybody's butt, just keep doing what you're doing. Man can fly, and he's a lot of fun.
There's
Hey,
the queen
Buzz,
bee.
right
Oh,
there,
there's
Buzz.
Buzz.
I went up to her, Len. I said, "Are you the queen bee?" She says, "Well, I've never had anybody say that to me before."
Oh my gosh.
She's a good girl.
She's
She really
awesome.
is. And this year I got tickled at her comment. She came to the dinner and she said, as long as y'all will keep coming, we'll keep having this. So as long as she's drawing breath. So
Great.
This is amazing.
Samuel.
well, you know who that is. That's the Lonky. That's Team
Yes, it
Lonky
is.
in clown racing.
Team Lonky. Yes.
He not no midget either.
No, he's
No,
not
he's
short
not.
either.
How'd he fly with those flip flops on? I'd be afraid to do that.
He's young.
Yeah.
That's Dennis and Bill.
Yeah.
That's Bernie. There's Mike Palco right there on the bottom left. That's the boy's daddy.
Yeah.
That's Sarah Huff.
Yeah, sure is.
No, is that right, Huff? Yeah, Rick Huff and Sarah.
Rick Huff.
They've been married 1 hour more than me and Colleen.
Wow.
1 hour. That could be. That's Palco and them.
Damn belly.
Yeah, no, it's Bill. Yeah. There's Jake with the bow tie.
There's
the
Mr.
Singapore
Dixon.
Jake with the
stunt
bow
team.
tie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jay
Colleen,
flew,
Dennis, Joe. Yep.
Jake
Mike and
flew his
Laura.
first round flight with the sport coat on. It was about 88 degrees or so. Second flight, he lost the sport coat. Didn't see it the rest of the week.
rolled his white
But he
sleeves
still
up,
wore the
too.
bow tie. So
And
Yeah.
but he rolled his sleeves up. It was humorous.
yeah.
Oh, there's a half
That's
A.
Larry.
Yeah, and half
Mr.
A
Paul.
event. Danny Banjock made 7 landings, but none of them were upright. So he didn't get any landing points in 2 flights.
I don't know, guys.
So did you fly that half-A Pathfinder?
Oh, it's electric. They won't let me. I
Oh.
judged.
This is the one I got
I
the
flew a half A Pathfinder and expert profile. So
Quite well, by the way.
Yeah.
what the
That
heck.
little plane will surprise you.
I had some
Yeah,
Man,
issues.
that one will.
The Weed Ooper Zilch in old time
Ask
did
Joe
better.
about it.
There's Timmy.
There's Tim.
Who's that guy?
Wish I thought to look in the front of that thing. He built that plane for a double star 61 and then converted the thing to electric. And man, it is nice.
It is.
I saw that one and then I saw Mr. Adamison's and I had to go buy a set of ribs.
They're a good airplane, Phil.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tom Dixon's been trying to get me to build one, put a 51 in it for about 20 years. I just never have
Good
done
motor.
it, but I think.
I had a
What?
Tiger 60 in mine.
Biggest takeaways for residents in this nearly 600.
I've got 2 double star 61s, but one's in the Avani and the other one's just a spare.
I'm trying to find a couple of large engines for Marcel. So if anybody knows of any that are coming up available, let me know.
Annual taxes and fees for residents in this budget are still lower than the averages.
Where's that coming from?
Those
things
trees
grew.
right there can be treacherous.
You ain't
Right where he
kidding.
was.
Yeah, trees can be.
Right where he was. I lost a good Mustang there one time.
George Waters.
George Waters, 190.
All right.
You didn't lose your P51 profile, did you?
The electric one I did up there 5 or 6 years ago. It was blowing
Oh,
like
shucks.
it was. And I thought, I'm going to see how this booger does. I flew down them trees and turned down and it looked at me. That's hitting a post right there. That's
Oh,
what they're doing.
man.
He hit 2
Oh.
posts. He hit 2
posts.
posts. Yeah.
It,
Oh my God.
One got the left wing, one got the right one.
Oh, damn.
it made a horrendous noise.
That was a beautiful airplane before the
Yes,
crash,
sir.
too.
I was I was taking the pictures of the takeoff on it, and I was waiting for the thing to come around. All of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man.
made a loud noise.
Yeah.
There was a couple
Bent the
guys.
post.
I won't say we got some service people in our ranks, but one guy hit the deck.
That's Jim. That's a service guy. He retired Army.
Yeah.
There's Kermit launching.
Yeah, and grass looks nice too.
They
Oh,
mowed
it
it
was
several
beautiful this
times.
year.
You couldn't have done better.
Anybody know who won Pilot's Choice?
I do not.
Okay.
Let me think. Bruce
There were 3 of
Jennings.
them,
There
right?
were 3 people named. Bruce Jennings.
Chris
right,
Fretz.
Chris
Chris
Fretz.
Fretz
Yeah.
and Mike Palco.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What
Cool.
plane did Mike Palco had?
He had his Mustang from 2008.
Okay.
All right. And the airplane still looks really, really good. It's been through at least
Flies
one
good too.
horrendous crash, and it still looks good, still flies good. So
That's Sparky stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
nice system,
Wanted to
Sparky.
see the holder he had for his plane, so I wanted to have a full.
I like that. When I was at Brodax, I walked around and filmed all the people's where they stored the planes. I got lots of pictures of how this.
My new one's pretty much like Sparky's, holding the planes vertically.
That's my flying buddy Tim right there from Tulsa.
Tim, isn't that Tim Tipton?
It is.
Yeah.
last
That
day, I
airplane
mean, didn't
lost a
see
wing.
exactly how it happened, but he shed a wing on that smoothie. So
Oh,
It happened
Oh,
by
shucks.
G-force.
He planted it a couple of years ago and probably damaged the wing, and it just that many more flights that came off. That's a good flying airplane.
yeah, it was.
He's
He
a
flew
heck of a
well
nice
on
guy, I'll tell you
Classic
that.
Day.
I met Tim at VSC one year.
He had a real pretty Vulcan at
Mhm.
BSC one year.
He sure did.
Some wise guy walked right in front of my perfect
There's
picture.
Mark.
Yeah, literally a wise
That's good.
guy. Yeah.
That's a wise guy.
That's great.
There's
Like-
another Pathfinder.
There's 2 pictures, 2 airplanes in one.
And we
Stuart, you getting ready to take pictures at the Nats too?
I think so.
Awesome.
Very
We
good.
saw these ones earlier, right?
You out of here, Sparky?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Sparky. Thanks for coming
Take
in.
care, Sparky.
See you, Sparky.
See you, Sparky. Thanks for the motors.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Hey, John,
Yeah,
you were saying somebody needs big motors?
yeah, Marcel Legrand in New Zealand. Apparently, it's hard to get stun engines in New Zealand. They've dried them up. Everybody's gone to electric, and they've just dried up. And he went to a big swap meet.
There's me.
There's Joe.
So anyway, yeah, he's looking for, and it's like Super Tiger 46, 51, or 60, something like that. Or in that range. Webras.
Who was the tallest stunt flyer you ever saw?
Angstrom.
How tall are you?
I'm sure.
Thanks,
How
Rob.
tall was Bill Simons? He was about 6'5" or 6'6"
He was
too, wasn't he?
6'6", yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Bill Simons was the tallest I ever. How tall is Angstrom?
Angstrom's 6'7.5". If you look at a door frame, that's
He
6'8".
wins. He wins the prize.
Yeah. So door frame height.
Everett Shoemaker there.
I'm 6'4" and have to look up to him, and I mean look up to him.
No wonder he wins so much.
Big rascal.
What judge is not
No.
going to give him score?
Angstrom is 6'7".
Angstrom is what?
6'7"? No wonder he looks so much taller than everything.
He's a
Yeah,
big rascal.
you know, the thing is he's finally put me in my place, because for my whole life I've told people I'm 6'8", and I guess with, you know, shoes and heels on, I'm hitting door frames. But Angstrom's put it in new perspective for me, because he's actually got me beat now. So I have to go around telling people I'm truly 6'7". because he's really the tall guy in the family. So
Hey, Angstrom, if you wanna really blow people's minds when you get in a crowd of people, call your daddy Shorty.
And
Too
run.
much respect for that. Too much respect for that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just the same.
Yeah.
I think
Everybody rags me about being so
got all the
tall,
pictures,
and
huh?
I'm the short one in my family. Both my brothers are taller than me.
All right. Thank you very much, Stuart. That's great.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stuart.
Great. So that now
Well
we
done.
have, now we have Gary
I guess
Akers.
that would be
Thanks
the
for your
night.
patience. Still around? Gary bailed out. I think Gary bailed out.
His
maybe
picture
he's on.
is
Oh, his name
his
is.
name's still there, but it's
He's
a
here.
black screen.
So Gary, turn on your camera, please.
I think
And
the
unmute
camera's even
yourself.
turned on. I think it's just dark in the room or something.
And
Yeah.
unmute your mic, your microphone. I can call Gary and say, "Hey, wake up."
Hmm.
So
Oh my goodness.
we'll go on to Joe Gilbert. Thanks for your patience,
There
Joe.
he is. Gary's
Oh.
back.
Gary. All right,
Put Gary
Gary.
on.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, buddy.
How about now?
Now we
Yeah.
hear you. Fantastic.
Perfect.
So what you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Went out to try to fix some cracks in the asphalt circles at Whittier Narrows.
Appreciate that.
We've been trying to get that fixed up, get the field ready. They're going to have a racing combat and speed contest this coming weekend down at Whittier.
Fantastic.
That'd be fun.
Hey Gary, that one story you told me one time when you met someone, I think it was at VSC, and you actually described the motor of the plane, described all
yeah,
things. Can you tell me that story again?
it's one of the VSCs, and I walked up to a person that I had grown up with, known him since I was a young teenager, and I walked up to him and I said, "Invader Stunner, I-beam wing, black finish, red and white trim, McCoy 40, Chester's glow plug, Pico 2-inch spinner, 9.6 3-bladed prop, and I don't know what your name is. I forgot." It was Wildman.
You remembered the important things.
Yeah.
Dang right. That's right.
And he said, no, it was dark blue. That's the only thing I got wrong.
Very good. Very good. Now, last time I saw you, what was you flying at? I think it was the fly-in, as a matter of fact. Or was it the Palmer last year?
Well, I was flying the yellow and ketchup and mustard Oriental for a while. And right now I'm flying a Formula S.
Oh, good for you.
Bob Hunt was kind enough to send me the plans to Formula S with the corrections on it. So I made build one of those up from scratch to have one. I really like the way it flies.
Very good.
I'm sure pretty in the air. There was two of them at Brodak.
A good airplane.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody remember that the original stilettos were based on that airplane, and the airplane before the stilettos that Les had was called the Tropic Air, which was basically just a slightly restyled Formula S. And then he used that same wing in the first stiletto.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Gary
I've actually got a
Phelps,
picture of
based his Patriot on the Formula S also.
Yeah. I've got a photo of Les and his Tropicaire at the 72 Nats in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Wow, fantastic.
I remember seeing a picture of the Tropic Air. It was a pretty airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let me get to the next person. Are you done? You done, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. So Joe Gilbert, everybody, thanks for your patience. We still have Philip Bailey, Jim Hoffman. I think Jim Hoffman, I think he had to go.
I think he beat me.
Yeah, and then Tryan's still here. So go ahead, Joe. How you doing? I know you had to leave early and went to hopefully a really good wedding. Hopefully
It is a great weekend. I just want to be on there to encourage you. If you haven't been to Brodax, you got to go. You just gotta go. Too many good people, too much good flying, great times. We had to come home, and it was no option. Had to come home, but it was great. It was just awesome. Awesome amount of people there. A lot of good flying, Charles.
I bet. And
Good flying.
I met you at Brodax, Joe.
That's correct. That's
go
right.
to Brodax and you will get some great new friends.
For sure.
I have a lot of new friends. I mean, Sparky, I met there. I met Dennis Adamison there. I met his dad, Art.
Yep.
There, and I met Jack Cheeks. I met Scarinzi,
John Saunders,
Lynn Leinhart. What's his name?
That's right, Leonhart.
Linhart Smith.
I met him.
Leonhart Smith. Yeah.
Met a lot of people. I can't even remember all the people's names. Oh, I met one guy who I had a great time with. Besides
Joe Adamisco, usually there, but he wasn't there this year.
Okay.
That I saw.
I heard he was having
Can I
some
throw
problems.
just a quick picture in, just before we get too far from the subject?
Go ahead.
Let me see if I can.
There it is.
All right.
Oh, pretty airplane.
Yeah,
Wow.
OS 35S.
Outstanding.
Very
What
pretty.
engine in those days, Bob?
OS 35S.
That was a Max 35S.
Max
You're talking
35S.
about the muffler. That was taken at the 72 King Orange Internationals.
Is that a Merco muffler?
No,
that's
it's the original
the
OS.
That's the OS muffler
muffler.
that was cleaned up and ground off all the fins. We used to lighten them up quite a bit. Well, anyway,
What length of lines would they fly those airplanes on in those days with the OS?
60.
58-foot lines, 59?
we were flying, I think, 60, 61, 62 feet.
Is that right? With the OS 35S? That's remarkable.
Oh, they were powerful. They were powerful. Like way more power than a Fox, you know.
Oh, yeah. But still, that's a lot of airplane. That's a 600-inch wing
I had to
airplane.
throw that in before we got too far past that, so, you know.
Yeah, very good.
I was up for Gary, actually, you know.
Thank you very much. And then Philip Bailey.
Just went to Brodak and had a ball. I just had to second what Joe said. If you haven't been, you gotta go. It's the most fun contest I've ever been to, and I've been to a bunch of them. And they still won't let me fly. The boss is going with me, and they won't let me fly. But August is coming, guys, and I'm building. I spent some time in the shop today, so August is going to be interesting. I'm either going to fly good or I'm going to fall flat on my face, but we're going to have fun trying either way.
Absolutely. You got to do that. So Tryon, you're up next. Tryon, thanks for coming in. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. I think we had as many as 18 people in the gallery.
Wow. Good group.
It's no problem. I kept busy. I mean, from the moment I joined, I actually molded 8 parts and fixed an airplane.
Wow.
So I kept a little busy.
Yeah, there's a lot. You had to wait. And then we've lost some people along the way, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so what have I been doing? Pressure washing the house, the driveway, okay. You just about
I'm about to drag this thing out here.
Yeah.
He's got it out this time, guys.
Ready. It's ready.
Yeah, I started working on a new plane. I have the fuselage molded already. I have to join the 2 halves. I was going to do it today, and then I realized that I didn't have my pieces for the hard points for the take apart. And I was like, stupid. Anyways, I was mad at myself. So that's what I did. That's next. I'm gonna start to do. I switched to, like I said, I switched to wax EVA method for release system. I just went back to the traditional stuff, and all I'm doing in a mold, I'm painting a thin coat of clear, or otherwise I'll be painting a thin coat of some color, right? And I'm putting the clear on, and I know I'm paying the price for that. But if I put the material, the carbon inside, and then I wet it, and I don't put enough resin in there, then it doesn't bridge up the gaps between the waves, because the waves are kind of like this. If you look through the carbon, you can just see light coming through it.
Okay.
So it has a lot of pores, right? So to fill in those pores with epoxy is um, quite taxing in weight, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just using the clear for that. And then when I put in the carbon inside, actually I wet it real good to make sure it penetrates everywhere. And I put paper towels on top of it and blot it out. So I'm removing a lot of excess resin out of it. So the layout is very dry. So you either put a wet, no clear and a wet layout, or you put clear and a very dry layout. Overall, you kind of break even. But I think with clear and a dry layout, it's better. You're just better off.
Good show.
Very good.
Because yeah, there's no way to control it. It's just like you don't know what you're having. You know, am I bridging everything? And I'm not. I mean, it's a guess at that point. So I don't want to guess.
Thought about something. Wonder if you thought of it. Have you thought about if you're going to use clear anyway, use the UV clear so the sun doesn't get to the carbon? It is UV. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Let me catch up on the chat box. I've let that go. Let me see here. So Roy Lane, who's a member of our YouTube channel, says, "Good evening. Like provided. I've been watching Sparky and his flight streak build this week." And then Marcel Legrand said, "Hi, Bob." I said, "I have a question for you. What size motor, props, and speed controller do you need for a twin like yours?"
Well, which one? I got like several twins. So,
Well, let me jump in here real quick. He's wanting to build your latest one.
The little one?
Yeah, the little one. And
yeah, those are 2310 900 kV badass motors. 2310s. That's a nice little series of motors they have. They're very powerful for what they, have a lot of torque for what size they are. I'm using 10.5 badass wood props, one left hand, one right hand. And a 5S 2200 milliamp LiPo pack in this case to run both motors.
What are you using for timer and
timer is a Fiorati with the twin function, and the ESC are two Talon 25s. With that size airplane, it only weighs 44.5 ounces, so a 225s. And they're mounted in the fuselage, not in the up by the nacelles, and it works great.
outside? The reason why he's asking is for him in New Zealand, he has to order this stuff long before, and he's wanting to make sure he gets the right stuff and he gets it there in time so that it'll be there when
I'll send him my email address if you have it. Even my phone number if you, that'd be difficult for him to call. But send him my email address, and if he has any questions, I'll answer them.
Okay, well, if you'd send me, I don't have your email address anymore, Bob. So if you'd send it to me, I'll be happy to send it now. You got mine, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
While you're doing that, let me see here. Marcel Legrand goes on to say, Marcel Legrand, excuse me, says, "Hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School." Right. And then Joe Thompson, he says, "Hey, Charles, good to see you again." Hey, Joe, good to be seen. And look forward to you coming out again to fly with us, Joe. Joe Thompson, that'd be great. And Philip Bailey,
thanks, Bob.
Light delivered and being soon. And Aura, he says, departed for Brodak and arrived at 2 emergency rooms instead.
Oh,
never made it. I'm okay though. But the really good news is my plane and equipment are ready for next year. Aura, hope your recovery is doing well. Hope you're feeling good. I'm sorry to hear about that, but thank God you're okay. Then old control line pilot, who is a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you, Bob Whitley, for your support. He says, "Hi everyone, like given, have to be up at 5 a.m. so doing chores and going to bed extra early. Enjoying the flight streak build. I have a baby a junior, and the original from 1975. And I think he says says a barf and a barf
A
and
barf?
a Brodak. I think he's talking about an arf from Brodak, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Al Fierro's
A
in the house.
barf.
Hey, Al,
What
how you
kind of
doing?
Hey, Al, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you guys again.
You too.
So
How did y'all do?
How'd you do at Brodak's?
Yeah, I had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
When I saw him 3 different times, he was working his butt off.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah,
That's right.
I saying you
That's
helped
right.
out Brandon Angstrom quite a bit. That's awesome.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was a quick learner, and we had a lot of fun with speed and combat. So it was busy. Stayed busy.
Did you run your perky this year?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
How'd you do?
I got third place. My plane has problems.
Oh, shucks. Yeah.
The wing joint was loose, and it was like, I guess it's not solid, and it wouldn't go through the air smooth. It was hunting, or I guess the wing. I think the wing was fluttering or something.
Yeah.
Everything has to be perfect to pull off a speed. But Bob Whitney did like 115, almost 116 miles an hour.
Wow.
And then Schaefer did like 112 and a half. I was at 105 for third. And then
wow, y'all were
I was
hauling.
103. So
Y'all were hauling. That's pretty good.
oh yeah, no, he had a great run. Bob had a great run. And Tom had a real good run too. Actually, he actually made a tank that was too small, and he lost power right before the finish line.
Oh, me.
So it was like we're and then we try to do everything to get it to go faster, like like doing a quick release. Like soon as I started, I drop it and let it go, and nothing would work. So
You guys haven't seen this. They don't crank it and tune it and then let it go. It's as soon as you hear bird, and it's gone. And when I say it's gone, it's on the other side of the circle already.
Yeah.
These things move.
It all depends how it is. Like mine always responded that way. Tom used to have his old tank in there where he used to sit there and hold it for a minute. He had so much fuel in it, and it had a little. During the beginning of the tank, it had a little issue in there where the RPMs would get drop like it was a rich spot or something. So I used to have to hold this plane until it got past that bubble and then let it go. So, but now this time he made the tank too small and it stopped. The engine shut off. A quarter lap before the finish lines. And he's still 112.
Mm. Well, I'm sure.
All I can tell you, it's too fast for me.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it and I said, no.
No. It's getting too fast for everybody, but
Well, Lonky did a good job of hanging on to it last year, but I couldn't do it. I watched that thing go and I said, nah, that's faster than a combat ship. Ain't no way.
You mean when he flew it in Carolina?
Yeah, he came down here and flew it and set the record for last year.
He said that.
And I mean, it looked like. Well, he flies that jet at night. He's got good eyes, still got good eyesight, and he's still got real good reflexes. But I mean, that little perky, that thing is just so impressive. It's so small, so loud, and I mean, when you first hear it fire, it is solid gone. They just drop them and poof, it's just gone.
It's amazing. It's amazing if 15 puts out that kind of power.
It is.
It
is. It's quick.
Yeah, so I had fun and running. I flew Ringmaster and Classic, and was a pamphlet too. So, you know,
It
I
looked like
did.
you was having fun when I saw you. You had a big smile on your face all week.
Oh yeah.
So
Then
you
I had,
looked like you was having.
and then I had a good match with Colombo, the guy from Michigan. I never flew him before. He's a top flyer, so
he's a good stick.
Yeah.
Ron
Colombo. Yeah.
He's a piece of work, isn't he?
He's a mess.
Very entertaining man.
That's right.
That dude can fly combat, man.
That dude can fly, mister.
So I had a good time flying him. So.
Wish I could stay and watch that. I was wanting to see some of the combat matches, but the two that I did stay, I told Vicky it's supposed to start here in just a minute. I want to see at least one combat match. And they just, one of them was on one side of the circle and the other one until just a minute before, it was less than a minute before the motors quit. And they finally got up and looked like he's trying to get to each other, but I don't think either one of them ever got to the other's tail. But at least not that flight. And then we left right after that. I had to get home. But I tell you what, that's a lot of fun.
And I finally got my McCoy 40 to run at Brodak after the past 2 years. It kept on having gremlins, but this time it ran perfect.
Ran beautiful.
Yeah, that was really on a.
I want to know what the heck he had in it, because that thing sounded like a Cadillac. I mean, it was beautiful. Run like a little turbine.
Yeah, that's it's great running motor.
Is that the blackhead or the redhead?
Well, it's a lightning bolt. It actually was a blue head. It was a RC40.
Okay.
And I took the carb off it and I put an Enya Venturi on it, and I still use the original McCoy spray bar, but it's one where I take the Series 21 ring and piston and put it on the McCoy
lightning bolt
connecting rod. Yeah, it has to be a lightning bolt. It has to be a lightning bolt to run a ring, because lightning bolts come with a fence liner. And I just take a carb brake hone for a wheel cylinder brake hone and use air to oil, hone the cylinder until get like a cross hatch pattern. You hone it as hard as you can and clean it all up.
That'll run good forever.
Put the McCoy, the brick engine, the Series 21.
Yeah.
Piston and ring in there, and it runs great.
That'll run good.
What it sounded like one of Bob's motors. Bob's motors always sounded great.
And the only thing you have to use the wrist pin on the only thing you have to do to piston it, you have to open up the wrist pin hole like 2 or 3 thousandths to get the original wrist pin, for the steel piston on the aluminum piston.
Yeah.
But it runs, runs like a clock. It's really I had problems with the clunk tank, and it didn't show up down here, in Jersey. But when I go up to Brodak, it was giving me fits. I couldn't understand what was going on, and finally figured it out. So,
what was going on?
The clunk tank wasn't when you hold it inverted. Even though I used the Sullivan tubing, it was clear. The clunk wouldn't go all the way down to the bottom. So what I did, because I'm using a tank that has like the bevel on it. It's not straight. It's beveled.
Oh yeah.
So what happened to me last year, it cut out in the clover and I crashed it, and so now I use, believe it or not, half a tubing on the Uniflow side, and that lets the clunk go all the way. When I go invert it, goes all the way down. Okay. So it's just you just got to take your time to fill it. It's slow filling because you fill through the Uniflow, but it's but that did it. The clunk's nice and loose, and when I hold the plane inverted and put a flashlight in there, I could see the clunk, drop towards the floor all the way.
Got clearance.
And before it was past half, and it didn't like it in the clover. It was like cutting out on me.
I tried that slant face a couple of times and I finally went back to just the regular old straight flat face one and found that it took care of a lot of my problems.
Interesting.
Joe uses one on a profile, but he turns the slant instead of having it where the slant's like this, he got it turned to the outside. How he does it? Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You just got to bend your angles in there sharp.
No, so have the slant
flies great.
Have the slant facing the outside. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a
Joe's
great
flies great. I mean, it just.
Yeah. So, oh, that's the way mine is. It's glued on a piece of wood, and
it's working for you. That's the important.
That's it.
Now it's working, so I'm not changing it now.
Yeah.
It's working really good, so not changing it now.
Well, that McCoy setup the way you got it. You know, Aldrich tried to buy the tooling in that from testers, and they destroyed it all. But he thought that highly of that McCoy engine that he wanted to. He did do his gas engine.
Yeah.
So they were good engines. They just didn't have the materials like they needed.
Yeah. But well, go ahead.
I have a question from Gary Akers. He's wondering who's going to the Worlds. Anybody going to the Worlds?
Lynn is obviously.
I am.
Me too.
I plan to be there.
I'm planning on going.
Oh, good. We'll get to see you there and give you a hard time.
Yep.
Yeah, I just bought my
You guys
plane
get to laugh
tickets.
at me.
Oh, good.
Fantastic.
Well, Glenn not gonna be there 2 weeks. We'll be ready to go home, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet it's gonna be a long trip, yeah. But I look forward to seeing you and Colleen.
We'll have a good time.
We definitely will.
Mark Weiss wants me to. They call it. It's not warming up the judges. They call it judges calibration flights. So I'm doing judges calibration flights.
Very good. That's
right.
Oh Lord.
That'll work.
Be careful if he takes you for a ride in the presidential golf cart.
Yeah, really.
He's grooming you.
It'll be. I'm not doing that nonsense.
Oh, never say never, Joe.
I'm just.
I learned that a long time ago.
I'm just
not doing what?
Not
running the gnats.
Why not?
It's kind of
I'm not
funny,
qualified.
Joe.
I'm not qualified.
You're not what, Joe?
Qualified.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, Mark asked me to fly some calibration flights too. I'm pretty sure you're going to outscore me by 3 points.
Dang it, I hope so.
I now call my good buddy there, Field Goal Joe, because he always seems to beat me by 3 points. Time, classic, whatever we're flying, VSC, Brodak, wherever. 3 point Joe. So
well, you were a little hindered this year.
Yeah, there were a couple of times I had to punt, but anyhow.
Yeah, well, the guys that don't know, Dennis was flying an 049 size airplane. Joe was flying his Ringmaster, and you just don't beat Joe when he's flying that dang Ringmaster.
I flew that little zilch. It was a capable airplane, but it wasn't.
I saw you.
It wasn't a Ringmaster.
I don't know, Joe.
Dennis is a good stick, dude.
I know Dennis is a good stick. So are you.
I saw Dennis flying in a video from Sparky, and it was a nice flight.
Yeah,
they put that flight on Andre's video. I have since bought an RC Sport model to fly.
Oh, me the boot.
Lord have mercy.
No, the video system is really, really interesting. So that was my first taste of it, and I don't know. I think it'll be around. I think we're all going to learn to use it, and I think we'll be happy with it.
That tracing you're talking about?
Yeah.
That tracing's that's the bomb, dude. Jim Demerell came to Tulsa and did that in 18, I think it was 19. Where it was, it's probably 20. Yeah, to 19. And it'll humble you, y'all.
What are you talking about?
The tracing where it follows the airplane after you fly the flights, and it'll trace it, what you did.
Oh boy. Oh
And
boy.
Against what is supposed to be perfection, you know, and it's
Oh, yeah.
really an amazing coaching tool. It really
it is. I agree, Bobby. It's incredible. And they can say, well, this stuff's distorted. Oh, BS. If that line's following the line all the time, you're doing something.
Yeah, but you better have a thick skin because nobody's flying as good as you think they are.
Bobby's right. Bobby is
And
right.
those 5-foot corners suddenly turn into 12s.
Oh, they're 17.
Yeah.
17. Wow.
Yep. A lot
If
of
you
naked
go out-
emperors out there all of a sudden.
You go out there and set your field up, a FAI field. Put your boards up when you're supposed to. There ain't very many people got a classic airplane that will fly that boards. There may not be any unless you're straining them pretty hard. That Cavalier, you got to be mean to it and have it's got to be just right to do it. That's a little pattern, y'all. It's a little pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You go see some good flying at the Worlds. I promise you, you will.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we can't go but 1 week or the other because we made a prior commitment. So we decided to go to the Worlds. I'm gonna miss the Nats, but we're going to the Worlds. I asked the boss which one she said she'd like to go to, and she said, well, let's go to the Worlds. I've never been there.
You're gonna meet some neat people, Phil. I don't care
I
the
know.
Chinese, the Philippines, the Mexicans, whoever, all of them. They're just people that want to have fun and enjoy their lives, and they're modern, man.
Yeah, I went to the last one at Muncie when Billy won, and
04.
I had a ball, and I've met a lot of nice people, and we had a pretty good talk in the food tent one morning. Bunch of guys were trying to get a little too serious, and I should not have interjected anything, but I didn't want to see a fight. And I said, hey guys, we're all flying toy airplanes. Take it easy. Come on. And it was enough. It broke it up. They started laughing, and that was the end of it. So it worked out all right.
I'll never forget because Billy and my son Robbie and I, we all roomed together, and I'll never forget the celebration that evening. The next morning, Billy took about 4 hours to wrap a set of lines.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. If you ever want to see anybody intense at a model contest, Billy Werwich beats all I ever saw.
Yeah.
He really gets intense.
I can see the air. I see the air.
It wouldn't surprise me if he can't.
He says that.
He's incredible. He is incredible. I was over and I listened to what he and Bobby were talking, and I listened to just a few minutes of it, and they were so far over my head, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about.
I just like to hang around them.
Neither did we. So
that's not true. That's not true.
I'm telling you what, Billy is on another level, man. He's something else.
Hey, Howard, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Howard.
How you been?
Hello, Howard. Good to see you, buddy.
Man, I've been missing you on this.
Okay.
Good.
Snap.
Get another haircut?
Guys, later. I gotta go.
Did I?
Yeah.
You take care of yourself.
All right.
Oh,
Thanks, Stuart.
yeah, last year or sometime, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, last year. Oh,
last year sometime.
So what you been up to, Howard?
Well, I'm cutting out some trip strips for Jean Martin.
Oh boy.
my word.
All right. All right.
Cool deal. Cool deal. I made some and put them on my plane. The things actually seem to work. I'm amazed. Yeah.
Those little T-bars or angle bars, whatever you want to call them, the gurney flaps you made for me for the twin, those white ones, they really work well.
Oh yeah.
converted it into a different airplane.
I'm making some of those for Jimby to his specifications. They're microscopic, so I'd be surprised if they do anything.
Those ones you made for me work great. I'd like to actually. Can you make them in any color?
Yeah. Well, I
can make a Porsche cream if you go with on my turning point, because they made the other airplane fly so good. I'd like to, but I have to give you the thickness of the elevator at the trailing edge.
Yeah, and
if you feel like making it,
because
there might be actually a lunch in it for you at Epic Outlisters.
Wow.
Okay. I like that. You can see, and cream, huh?
Yeah, Porsche cream.
Oh, what?
Any cream will be close enough.
Any cream will be close enough.
Anything but bronze.
By the way, as long as you said that, John, I came up with a great name for an airplane the other day. You know, everybody here knows how much everybody's busted my chops about the coppers and the bronzes and stuff over the years. Well, I got this big twin, this 735 square inch twin, and I'm getting ready to paint it. And I was going to do it in red, white, and blue and call it American Spirit. But I said, you know, I'm going to go back to my roots and go back to the bronze and brownstones just so I could piss off Billy. And and I decided to call it. Are you ready for the name? Bronze Age.
Oh
no! That's good. That's wonderful. Just wonderful.
That'll send Billy right over the edge.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
How is Billy doing?
He's doing. He's physically he's pretty good. Better than he has been in a long time. He's on dialysis 3 days a week, so I don't think we're going to be.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I got his Junar, the white Junar, downstairs, and picked it up when we went to that awards dinner in Dayton, Ohio. Picked it up from him, and he wants me to convert it to electric so we can fly in his converted. He has a stables and he has a corral there. He converted it into a flying field, but I guess his neighbors wouldn't appreciate the noise, so he wants an electric airplane. So we're going to do that.
Outstanding. Well done.
So he's still able to fly then.
Oh yeah, he hasn't lost any enthusiasm about building or designing or flying. He's just that, and at some point, if you can afford it, we can go to some contests and go to a local hospital when required and get the dialysis. But it's about a 4-hour process. So
yeah, it's a big deal.
It's difficult for him to do anything serious,
Did he ever get his ringmaster flying, Bob? You know?
Not that I know of.
Okay, he called me one time.
He was actually going to build a barnstormer, like the original, the one that Lou Andrews had with the cheek cowls and the flaps. That's what he started on, was barnstormers before the Ares or any of his airplanes, that he designed. He had barnstormers, and he had the plans out there. He was showing me. He said, "Can we put an electric system in this?" I said, "Sure." So we might be doing that.
Okay.
Ask him about a set of those plans, because I'd sure like to have it. And if
yeah,
you want to do
I remember you mentioned that.
If you want to write in the modifications for electric, you go right ahead.
No modifications, you just put electric motor system in it. Yeah, I think he does have those plans, and I will try to get in touch with him. Getting in touch with Billy is, sometimes can be difficult. He doesn't always answer the phone.
Is he still playing music professionally?
Yeah, matter of fact, he's playing more music now than he has in years. He becomes a singing cowboy. He has there's a deal they have, a Groupon thing for the underprivileged kids in Cleveland, and they bring them out to the different places, and his is one of them, where he does horseback riding, and they teach him horseback riding, and then he sits around a campfire and sings songs, and that's become the most popular thing, is singing cowboy. Yeah.
Good for him.
Great.
Yeah. He's doing good.
Good
He's seen every Hank Williams song I've ever written, So.
I'd love to sit and jam with him one night.
Except he does it
love
all
just
with
sitting and
jazz
listening
chords.
to
He
him.
doesn't do it with cowboy chords. He does it all with jazz chords.
Right.
Sounding.
Yeah.
I'd love to just hear him play again. He's
He's a
amazing.
great player. You know, he
Yes.
played
I tell you,
with,
if you want to hear something
he
fun,
played with Gene Pitney. He played with Joe Walsh.
Oh,
He played with George Benson. He played with, he was Bill Doggett's guitar player, the guy who wrote Honky Tonk. And he was Tiny Tim's guitar player for a number of years.
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Didn't you and he jam at the Nationals one year?
Oh, all the time. Oh, we jam. He comes in, we jam for hours and hours and hours, you know. And then his house.
I heard one of those jam sessions, and I'd love to hear that again. That was fun.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to play with him more, but I have to go to his house to do that now. So,
yeah.
You know, Billy was getting to the point where we was, you know, before he got into dialysis, he was looking like he was pretty well gone. And he had this big beard and he had this ski cap on. And he looked for all the world like one of the little yard gnomes, you know, that holds up the lamp.
The last time I saw a picture of him, he was in looked like hunting garb.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he has that flannel checkerboard shirt or whatever it is. And,
yeah.
He's a character, but I'll tell you what, he still has a great mind for design and for thinking about stunt. He has a lot of ideas, and we'll try some of them for sure.
Very good. Hey guys, I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. And you're doing
there it is.
Nice
Oh,
picture.
there it is.
He's looking pretty good.
That was last fall at the Cleveland meet. So
very nice. Thank you very much.
no guitar, no ski cap, but yeah.
Yeah, Dennis sent me that picture, and that tickled me to death. I just
very cool. Well, with that, you guys, we're gonna wish everybody. Hope you have a chance to do some flying or work in your shop and come back Friday and tell us all about it.
You sure?
We look forward to seeing you guys again. So until then, fair winds, tight lines. We're gonna maybe still have the after party, but I'm gonna end the live stream now. So